Morning to you. I hope that you're having a great Tuesday and that you continue to grow in your relationship with the Lord. Thanks for giving me 5 to 7 minutes for morning devotions at 10 o'clock. We're working through the miracles of Jesus this week, so I hope that you're enjoying our study. We're going to be in Mark chapter 11, verses 12 through 14 this morning. Mark chapter 11, verses 12 through 14. As you go there, really quick, want to review miracles of Jesus. It's a divine act by which God reveals himself to people. It's an act that is contradictory or transcends the natural law. In the Bible, it's called a miracle. It's called a sign. It's also called a wonder. And Jesus used these miracles to introduce that he was bringing God's kingdom and God's salvation to him. Now, I want to be really careful as I walk into this today from Mark chapter 11 that I don't get myself in too much trouble, but there's a problem here in my house, and we're trying to deal with it. The problem is that Holly uses other dishes for leftovers. Recently, the latest culprit is she gets this cookie dough from Sam's Club, and it's in a nice bin. And in this bin is God sent cookie dough, and it is wonderful. And there was one day that I was hankering cookies, and I will confess that I like to eat raw cookie dough. Love to get a spoon in there and dig it out and just enjoy it. It's a part of heaven here on earth. So I was hankering that. I opened up the fridge. I looked at it and go, what am I hungry for? I'm looking, and perfect cookie dough. And I went and I got my spoon and I snuck around to make sure I wasn't going to get caught. And I opened up the lid, ready to taste that cookie dough, and there was cucumbers. You talk about getting upset. I was so disheartened because I was so craving cookies, and I couldn't find it. It's where Jesus is at today. He's not dealing with cookies or cucumbers, but he is in a similar position. So let's go to Mark chapter 11, verses 12 through 14. When you read this when we're done, I also want to encourage you to read Mark chapter 11, verses 20 through 24, because the story, the miracle is split. I'm going to walk into that in about 30 seconds. So the miracle that we're looking at, it's more of a picture of our lives and how we are to be fruitful. Now, I don't want you to miss that the truth of the tree is that it's withered. So Jesus withers the tree. He has this encounter with the tree. He then goes and clears the temple, and then he goes back and he talks about the lessons that the disciples can learn from the withered tree. So yes, we're focusing on Mark 11, 12 through 14, but you need to read all of Mark 11 to be able to understand all that's going on. So let's set this up. Jesus had left from Bethany early in the morning. He left early. He probably left before sunrise to go spend some time in prayer with God before he started his day of ministry. This is the day after the triumphal entry, the day after Palm Sunday, so this would be Monday after Palm Sunday. Now, Jesus started his journey, and we find that Jesus has a problem. What is his problem? He is hungry. Now, this shows that he's hungry. It shows us and reminds us that Jesus is fully God, but he is also fully man. He faced the same temptations we did, yet he was without any sin. Jesus comes to this fig tree, and the purpose of the fig tree is to produce fruit. It is to produce figs. Now, it would have produced leaves in March or April, and then the fruit would have started in June, and then a second crop would have come in August, and then possibly a third crop in December. Now, there's a problem with this fig tree, and it gives the appearance that it is in full bloom and that it is fruitful and it is healthy and it's going to produce fruit. However, Jesus saw this and he went over and he walked to it because he was hungry, and he went with the expectations that he would be able to get food. However, there was no food there. Let's pause and make sure we understand the significance of the fig tree. The fig tree is associated with the nation of Israel. Remember, Jesus is going to curse the tree, he's going to go clear the temple, and then he's going to talk about the tree. Why would he curse the tree? The tree is cursed because it's not fulfilling its purpose. It was a fruitless tree. It gave all the right impressions. It was the right leaves. It was the right season. However, it did not deliver on the purpose. It attracted people to come to it, and then it gave false hope. And sometimes that can happen in our lives. Sometimes we say all the right things, we even do the right things, but when people come and look at a closer look to us, we see that we don't have any fruit for our lives. We attract the people, but we can't provide anything for them once they get close enough to inspect our lives. Really, what Jesus is speaking to is he is speaking to hypocrisy of Israel. He's talking to Israel about their misrepresenting the truth, how they're saying they want to worship the Lord, but they're not truly desiring to worship the Lord. So Jesus comes upon this fig tree and he curses it. And this really comes true, and it really comes clear and understandable when you read Mark chapter 11, verses 20 through 24. So my encouragement to you, read verses 12 through 14, then jump to 20 through 24, and it's really going to make clear of the purpose of this miracle. So how does this make a difference in our Tuesday morning or whenever you watch this? The question I have for you, the question I have for me is, when Jesus looks at me, when Jesus looks at you, is he finding fruit and truth, or is he finding an empty tree that is making promises that delivers little fruit? Jesus is speaking against hypocrisy. He's speaking against misrepresenting the truth. The question I can ask myself, and I want to ask you, is, are you living a life that is misrepresenting the truth? Or are you living a life that is showing truth and pointing people to Christ? Are you saying one thing and doing another? Or are you letting your yes be yes and no be no? I hope that you have a great Tuesday, and I hope that when you open that refrigerator door and that you open that cookie dough, that you will find cookie dough. And I hope, even more importantly, that your life will be the same when Jesus comes to inspect. If I can help you in any way, please let me know. I would love to reach out and help you. Thanks for all the comments. Have a great day.